Hey. Hi, everybody. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and first off mention that the winner from yesterday's giveaway is Vegas Andrews. So, my dear, if you would reach out to me via email and let me know where in the world you would like me to mail your prize, you'll find my email is listed in the description box. For those of you just tuning in or new to my channel, welcome. I'm doing a giveaway every day for the entire rest of this year. I give away something different. So, stick around to the end and I'll show you what the next item is that I'm giving away. This is to thank my subscribers for choosing to bring your amazing energy into my world, into my life. It's just, I wanted to end this year on a high note, and this is kind of a fun way to do that. So anyway, stick around and I'll show you guys what the next item is. I'm very excited because this all fits together. So normally I select a prize at random, but today I'm very specific about what prize I want to give away and why. Obviously, we are honoring the upcoming full moon and lunar eclipse. So I'm not going to start this bonus reading with anything about what happened on my hike, because honestly, I was very much in my head on my hike. So I'm just going to flat out tell you what it was I was contemplating and different things that I've been listening to different even meteorological reports and things. So we have this full moon in Taurus happening, right? But it's also a partial lunar eclipse. And with that, it's 97% of it will be eclipsed. So it's pretty close to a full one, but it's not. But this is a unique one in the sense that the last time we had one that was this slow moving, this prolonged of an eclipse was 600 years ago, February 18th, 1440. And so it's going to last for about 6 hours. So I'm mentioning all these numbers for a reason. Sorry to bombard you, but I'll spin it together and tie it with a storyline in just a moment. So 600 years ago is the last time that we had something this significant. That was the year 1440. Then this eclipse is going to begin at 1:18 in the morning. It peaks at 3:03 in the morning, and then it ends at 4:47 a.m. And so this is all happening on the 19th. So I'm actually going to get up and take a look. But this is, they talk about the penumbra, and this brings me to what I'll be giving away today. Also, I'm very excited about this. But a penumbra is the space basically kind of like between light and dark. It's kind of like the space, I suppose, of the shadow, more or less. But it's an interesting thing because the umbra itself is the deepest part of Earth's shadow. So when we get to 3:03 in the morning, that's where we'll kind of be in that deepest part. So I'm gonna explain this now and say there's a lot of synchronistic numbers and repeat numbers and things like that. At least I see that when I look at 600, 1440, 3:03, 4:47. And if you just kind of tie together a storyline, and you can look these up at different sources and look at angel numbers, but I'm just going to tell you my interpretation. Feel free to look at things totally differently. The way I begin this reading today is to talk about we make little decisions every single day. We have every step of our life. That's what that 600 is representing. Little choices that we make in how we live our life, what we believe in, how we treat the people in our lives. Those decisions that we make impact kind of like possibly a long way down the future. So we subconsciously make choices, but now might be a great time to start thinking consciously about choices that we make, because we do change and influence our own lives, right? The fact that some of the most prominent things maybe in life are love and how what is our trust in love? If we trust somebody loves us, we feel safer, right? Are we giving that to others? So it's a great time to contemplate that. The fact that we're now moving into that time of, the moon going into Earth's shadow, I'm likening this to like the darkest hours just before the dawn. In this case, we go through this time period where we start thinking about what matters most to us. What do we want to change? We may have a renewed sense of emotional attachment to people, to the way we live our life. That's kind of the 1:18 aspect of this, when it really begins, when the lunar eclipse really begins, is 1:18 is more associated with maybe a renewal of what's important to us. And it could be emotional attachments that somebody is starting to experience. Then as we get to that 3:03, there's our darkest hour before the dawn, right? There's that time period where we kind of come into a place of, I mean, we're very far away from the earth now. The moon is far, far, far away from the earth, and it's deep in shadow. But in that moment, it's like we can step back and distance ourselves from something and contemplate what really does matter to me. I feel a renewed sense of importance in the connections that I have in my life. This is all about emotions, is the way I'm taking this lunar eclipse. And I have a sense of peace. So sometimes we remove ourselves and we look at things from a bird's eye view and we go, what is important? Oh my gosh. What's important is the people I care about, the relationships I hold dear to me, which ones I keep close to my heart and which ones I release. There's a moment of serenity, and there's a moment where it's like, I'm recharged all of a sudden. Oh my gosh, I can see what's important to me. And then as we move into that 447, we're ending this whole lunar eclipse. That's where you come out kind of heroic, because the universe is like patting you on the back. The number 447 can be associated with the universe, like celebrating you, or whatever you perceive the universe to be, your guides, your whatever it is, saying, yes, you found that clarity, that peace of mind, that emotional, your level in what you know to be true now. Your emotions are settled and you know exactly what it is that you want. So that's how I'm starting this reading. I hope that makes some sense. Again, just to recap those numbers, it's 600, 1440, 118, 303, and 447. I thought that was kind of interesting. And so I had made notes because I wanted to make sure that I said all of that because I thought it was really cool. But that's how I'm starting this reading. So let's go ahead and see, how does that work in? This isn't going to be a super long reading, no matter how I slice it. But I think this is very special. Guardian. That's nice. So some of you, and I see a third eye chakra opening up here. Some of you are perhaps becoming very aware that indeed the people that you've called into your life, it's maybe sometimes you look out for them, sometimes they look out for you, but there may be one particular person that you recognize as a very important, like, soul connection as you come through this. This is somebody who's recognizing this about you, or you're recognizing this about them. There's also an awareness that there is protection around you. But I feel like it's funny because at the top of this, it says familiar. This is someone that you're already familiar with. Some of you, maybe it's someone who isn't with you in the 3D. Maybe it's somebody who's with you energetically, but it seems as if there is an awareness all of a sudden that even the difficult things you might have gone through, maybe you were protected from something. Maybe there has always been someone who you haven't identified as a potential lover, but they've been in your life a long time. They're a good friend. And now you're like, oh my gosh, this person has played a really huge role in my life. I love this person. Maybe it's platonic love. Maybe it's a lover. Maybe whatever it is, I feel like you are becoming aware of a role that somebody plays in your life. And it has to do with, it is a divine connection. They have been there for you in moments where something about them influenced your life and protected you at a moment when you needed to be protected, or vice versa. Sometimes this happens when people step out of the way, not just step into our lives, right? There are moments where somebody steps back and you're kind of left going, oh my God, what just happened there? Why did this person leave my world? But it impacts you possibly in a positive way. So there's this understanding that someone who is familiar to you already played a significant role in your life in a very wonderful way. Even though it could have been very complicated and hard to understand, think about something that was really significant. It's that third eye chakra that's recognizing it. You are becoming aware, or this is someone else entirely different. By the way, this cat and those green eyes, I have a really good friend in Greece who's a fabulous photographer. Please do check out his photography. I'm going to put his link right there in the description box. But he had just sent me a photo of a cat with the most incredible green eyes. And I feel like those of you who have a connection to Greece, or those of you who just like cats, check out my friend Themios. His work is incredible. Anyway, yeah, I'll put that link there for you. That's just a side note for anyone who resonates with that. We also have banishment And then we also have summer. And this is the Watchtower of the South. This is representing possibly either something that did already happen in the summer months, something that is either upcoming next summer or has already happened. But it is thanks to the fact that we have guardian and we have banishment, and then we have this turn of events to this bright, wonderful, lighthearted time. I feel like someone helped you to have the courage to release negative thought processes, release yourself from a situation that didn't suit you, or someone has been gently guiding you through troubled waters and actually giving you the strength and the courage to realize when it's time to say goodbye to something, and to actually intentionally, when we say banishment, we're talking about intentionally pushing something out of our lives. It's interesting because I feel like if we go back to what I was saying at the very beginning, these little decisions that we've been making, this could have been like maybe there was a family member that didn't approve of an ex of yours or something, and they kind of made things a little difficult, or you kept hearing their words in your mind, or there was some kind of what almost felt like maybe annoyance or interference, but then it turns out, you know what? They had my best interest at heart, and that was something that they were helping to protect me. This could also be that maybe you lost a job, maybe you got pushed out the door on something, and you know what? It was for your greatest protection. Maybe there was, you were hoping to connect with somebody in the workplace or something like that, and then instead tables turned and, there were cuts at your job and you lost that job. Turns out this was all for the best. Whatever you thought you lost, it was actually a form of protection. However, and it could have even been, maybe you didn't get promoted or something like that, but even that boss was maybe making sure that they protected you because they knew something would have been unsteady, unstable. This is somebody who wanted the best for you. They truly did. And there was some kind of a rejection involved, but it was all for the best. And it definitely all for the best, because we wind up here, summertime, and it's the Watchtower of the South. This is like, you might have even felt like you've been a little bit stuck, but in this case, you're not held captive in a tower. You're in a watchtower, able to observe everything from a safe space until the time comes back around where it's fruitful and it's wonderful. Some of you might be feeling like life has been very stagnant. That may be that part of the penumbra aspect, the part where we're going like right in between light and dark. And it's like, what is going on here? And you're starting to understand, I might have been feeling stagnant, even rejected, put somewhere in a tower, only to find out it's actually a watchtower. It's a space where you've been able to watch life unfold from a safe distance until things are really beautiful and safe for you to actually interact again. This is a time where I really feel like we're coming into the a sense of gratitude for the things that haven't been given to you. It's like, oh, thank God I didn't have that. I didn't realize that I've been so protected from so many other things. And this all came with a sense of loss or rejection. And it turns out to be one of the greatest gifts. And there is some higher power at work for you, or someone who somehow gently played a role in this behind the scenes. And you're just now acknowledging that and just now sensing it and feeling it. Things are getting really good. Imagination. So we have the Watchtower of the South with that summer card. And now we see a weather vane. And now we have, this is your time to decide what you want next. And you're deciding it from that place of peace and serenity. So this is that 303 aspect, right? This is where we're furthest away from the difficulties we have known. And instead of feeling lonely and removed and isolated, we go, oh my God, this is giving the bird's eye view. I can see everything now, why it happened. And this is where I can plan what I want to have happen next when I come back into that summertime. This is the peace and the serenity and the exuberance and the gratitude for life. You know that you have another chapter up ahead for you. Healer. Some of you may be picking up new skills right now. Some of you may be choosing to heal yourself, but you might be getting really interested in all kinds of healing therapies and modalities. Now, I feel like this is all from one particular person's perspective right now. I feel like that's the overview of this. That's what this time period, that's the subtle change, right? Because this is all about change. What's going to change? In this storyline, the only things that are changing are your not just understanding of why you perhaps had been stuck somewhere, but a profound sense of gratitude for having been stuck, because it was I want to say almost like I don't want to really use the word vacation, but your perspective on it is like, I was protected, I wasn't rejected, and so instead it becomes this welcome place where you have the ability to really start to create a vision for yourself of what you want next. And it has everything to do, I think a lot of people, if this storyline is something that's resonating and inspiring you, it would have a lot to do with focusing on, wow, I've been protected. I recognize it now, but for a long time I was in a state of maybe sorrow or loneliness. And now that I've come out the other side, gosh, I wonder how many other people are sitting there not able to see that part. How can I help other people heal? There may be a lot of individuals out there that, you want to heal wounded things. You want to heal your own personal relationships with people. Maybe you want to heal, problems of the planet. You want to heal problems between like cultures, problems between different groups of people. You want to be a part of a solution, a healing solution. You want to be somebody who helps the planet grow, who helps the ecosystem heal, somebody who wants to take actions. This is not a personal card anymore. This is how you're coming out, the energy that is changing after this lunar eclipse. It is changing in the sense that you're recognizing, almost because you've been protected by something greater than yourself during times of difficulty, you realize like, oh my God, I want to give something back because I feel so grateful for how I've been protected during my most difficult moments. And now I have a better idea of like how to express gratitude, how to give something back, how to get involved in community projects, how to do this. It's like, I feel like everybody says, well, I may only have 1 hour a week that I could donate my time to this or that project in my community, but I'm going to do it because it's all about healing. And I'm more healed than I've ever been. But a lot of other people need that touchstone. They need to believe that they can heal too. This is a beautiful turn of events, a beautiful turn of events. I do just want to go back and I want to ask, what was it then that was banished? And I almost hesitate to ask that because, it could be so variable. So I don't know what will come out of it, if it'll be broad or abstract or specific. What was banished? Apparently the sense of problems surrounding love, surrounding self-love, giving and receiving love. The idea that love had to be hard, the idea that love had to hurt, the idea that, I keep giving love, but someone doesn't ever receive it. The idea that my love wasn't good enough to be accepted. The idea that I don't deserve to be treated kindly. All of the things that I tolerated or thought were normal, that has to be hard. No, it doesn't. Not at all. In fact, if it's super hard, maybe it's because somebody else needs to go do a bunch of healing. I mean, this is going to sound super one-sided, but it's almost like realizing the problem wasn't you. If somebody couldn't receive love, they needed to go work on themselves. You didn't need to love them harder and harder and try to, insist that no, this is, like I really do want to give to you. Maybe you didn't understand that. Let me say it again. Let me say it again another way. Let me say it again another way. And somebody just couldn't hear it. The thing that you're banishing is the idea that love also has to continuously be given when it's not being received. That's not true either. You can say, well, I love that person, but they can't receive it. So I just got to step back. This is like not laying yourself out and sacrificing and trying to, give when perhaps someone is not capable of receiving because of where they are, or maybe because they really, some people are game players, some people are super, wounded, and they need to go work on themselves and figure out why they play those games. And it's not your job to have to figure everybody else out. It's only your duty to know that it's not something is, if you got rejected or your love wasn't accepted, it wasn't your job to try to figure out why it wasn't accepted. Love was amazing, is amazing. What you offer is incredible. It's never not enough. It just maybe didn't align with someone because they couldn't receive. And that is not your problem, it's theirs. Maybe that sounds rude, but that's my interpretation on this. There's a million interpretations on every card, but I just see it's relieving yourself of struggles in regards to giving and receiving love. Knowing that sometimes people will want your attention but won't give anything in return, and that was confusing. It doesn't have to be confusing anymore, though, because what is that that's like somebody who is, they're hungry for attention, but they may have a void in them that's never going to be filled. So they're going to look for attention from tons of people. That's on them. It's not on you, right? So I don't know. That's my interpretation on this story. I don't know if that will make sense to anybody out there, but freeing oneself from the belief that I have to keep giving even to somebody who doesn't know how to receive, or feeling like love is always going to be something where I'm destined to be confused by it and give and give. That's what we're rejecting now. That's what we are releasing ourselves from. And if we didn't wind up with somebody who was maybe a game player, or maybe was confusing, or whatever it was, that was the form of protection, a huge amount of protection. That's that guardian. Something looked out for somebody who couldn't, I don't know. I feel like there's this awareness that, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I didn't end up with a situation where somebody wasn't healthy enough to receive and be a partner, and I don't have to question my worth anymore. I know that I'm worthy, and I know that there's a million people out there that do love me, and I have friends and I have family. This is counting up the people that are near and dear to you, and really recognizing that you're very loved and very lovable. This is coming out the other side of, I think, a very dark, difficult time is that's what this storyline is about. Whether or not that might only be something that resonates with one person out there. But remember, my readings are just readings, right? They're never intended to be real. So please know, I'm not a psychic. I'm not a fortune teller. I have no wisdom to impart. I am a storyteller, and it's like I'm writing a book in front of you. So all these words are my own. All of the thoughts are mine. It's my intellectual persona that I'm just kind of like openly sharing right now. So don't take it to heart if it makes no sense. All right, now the giveaway. So if you win today's giveaway, in honor of the lunar eclipse, you will receive a sunny little package that has a sticker of a moon to close it. And inside, you will receive an entire deck, which this is one of my own personal decks. It is called the Brilliant Penumbra. I made this deck, so it's my photography, my writing. It's shaped like honeycomb, and there's instructions with how you use this deck. But it's a deck that I intended it to be a deck all about when we're in that space between light and dark, and we're kind of, life is lots of gray area, and that is sometimes where we find answers and acceptance and comfort, really, is when it doesn't always have to be black and white. It's like, well, there's lots of perspectives. So in any case, this is a deck that I created, I don't know, a year ago, I suppose. And I am not currently selling anything on my Etsy store. I'm just taking a break because I've been too busy. but I wanted to go ahead and give away one of these decks. So if you wish to enter to win, you certainly may. So you can do it in one of two ways. You can either enter to win this by just writing the word enter, or if you would like to do something a little bit more fun, you can choose to answer this question. What has been one of the, I want to say like the greatest emotional shifts that you've experienced in your life? For me, I would have said it's probably like a certain amount of self-acceptance. In my family in general, obesity runs in my family, and weight is always a thing that I, will forever deal with in my own weight. And so as a kid, I was very obese. I weigh less now than I did in 8th grade. And so I was really bullied, and, that kind of stuff gets in your head, and then it never goes away, right? You just, at some point in your life though, you grow. And I have to say that was something that actually really helped shape me, because I was fortunate enough to come from a family where my mom was always like, none of the external you defines anything about you, And so it never was implanted in my head that my self-worth was something that should have been affected. And yet, it still is. But as you grow up, at some point in your life, you actually really do come to understand that, who we are on the outside. Every person is beautiful just as they are. But the bullying and stuff gets in your head. And so I think like just accepting oneself, I almost feel like grateful that I had such a hard time, during those younger years, because it made me, I think, just more at ease and more comfortable with everything related to the human body, everything related to like my perspective of beauty has nothing to do with external at all. I think good health is awesome. And it's something I always have to be conscious of, good health, exercise, all that stuff is a daily thing that I have to be aware of in my own life, but that's awesome, but as far as like self-worth or understanding, what is really important, it has nothing to do with the external for me whatsoever. And I think I didn't realize I actually believed that until I was probably in my 20s. And then I was like, oh yeah, I totally, like, I don't even understand why people think this person's gorgeous, that person's gorgeous. I'm like, but who are they? Like, you don't know if somebody's attractive until you get to know who they are. It doesn't matter what the picture looks like. You can be, they are aesthetically pleasing the same way a painting is aesthetically pleasing, but that doesn't make somebody attractive. And I think that was like a kind of to be consciously aware that I've never looked at beauty in the same way. And maybe it came from my own personal perspective, but I didn't even know I thought that until I was like in my 20s. So I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody out there, but whatever it may be for you, feel free to share your thoughts or not, whatever you wish. I just like to ask people a question because I think you guys have amazing thoughts, and I think it's so beautiful and so heartening to see how intelligent and kind and beautiful the human race is, and people write in from all around the world. And I just think collectively, it's so empowering to see your guys' comments and to see what fine minds you have and what fine, beautiful spirits you have. So feel free to share your thoughts if you'd like, or a personal story if you would like, or not at all. It's up to you. Mwah. Take care. Bye, guys.